Alright, let's check the merchant. Job gear tank. Those are all like low item level. Yeah, those are low item levels. Midgina. Midgina has samples that need delivered. This finisher strikes due to bracing winds. Alright. Why, hello there. Your arrival could not have come more timely. Mistress Aether has but just left instructions for another batch of deliveries. She sends her regards, of course. Today she is in the Idleshire for business with Rowena's House of Splendors. Tomorrow we'll no doubt find her in some other far-flung corner of the realm. We mustn't be outdone. This time our samples are destined for 2 organizations in Cortius. An arrangement made possible by none other than Master Sicard. He contacted his dear friend Lord Emmanuel de Fortoms. Who was kind enough to spread the word of the boutique to his own contracts across Ishgard. It hardly took any of time for the first letter of interest to reach us. Once these samples have been delivered, that interest will be piqued. Or so I have been assured. Lord Emmanuel has insisted he will take care of all the particulars, and bid me to convey the enthusiasm that he looks forward to accompanying you on the deliveries. Now then, regarding that secret mission of ours. A gorgeous sapphire, is it not? It will make a beautiful necklace once restored, a keepsake of not only Mistress Aether's mother, but that of her many friends and allies from across the realm. I am confident that someone of your experience has most discerning eye for mementos. Bring back anything you think will make worthy addition. And with that, I will leave these samples in your capable hands and eagerly await your safe return. To Ishgard we go. Okay, so let's shoot the jewel across here, right? Potatoes, old girl, just good to see a rosy glow in your cheeks, considering that dreadful business with the imminent destruction of mankind and the end of the times and whatnot. Whoa, calm down, what are you talking about? Yes, indeed. Better to distribute exquisite arms and accoutrements than a bona fide hero such as yourself. Well, I have 2 parties with simply ravenous interest in your products, dear lady. The first of whom happens to be rather exquisite herself, my dearest Lady Laniette. be so good as to precede me to the Rose House. I shall be along promptly, of course, just as soon as I'm coiffed and powdered. Alright, let's go. Almost there. It's right down here, right? Oh, Matt, it's good to see you, Helen Hall. Thank you for personally making the trip. I know your obligations are many. Truth be told, your rival could scarce have had better timing. While our erstwhile troubled relations with the Vanu improved day by day, we have been forced to reconsider our current munitions due to recent incidents of... I have come, my darling Blossom. Behold, Immonalane, the executioner, here to smash your foes with ruthless ardor. Well, I strike a rather smashing silhouette, do I not? Why, Sikaar could not have found a better man to give these samples to. Surely such splendid armor could be put better use than fashion. Lord Immonalane, could I not prevail upon your better sense to relinquish that gear to those who might appreciate its practicality? Far be it from me to deny any request of yours, Lady Laniette. Only I must confess that I have had slightly exaggerated Sikaar's generosity in the matter of gifting these. And you mean to say you borrowed them, no doubt without his knowledge or consent? Why should I have expected otherwise? Friends may forgive, but it bears repeating that your clients deserve at least a modicum of professionalism. You do have other clients, don't you? Of course I have, and of no little celebrity at that. You remember the Red Bills, of course? The Red Bills. Yeah, the Red Bills. Yeah, I remember those guys. It's from the Alliance raids. The Sky Pirates that have an experienced adventurer should know them hardly surprises me. But how does a privileged son of the House Fortins come to make their direct acquaintance? It was a happy coincidence of alien circumstance, I assure you. Spedios here can attest, and unbiased range of social contacts is the essential arsenal of not just adventurers, but any gentleman of consequence. Or lady of consequence, as it were. Unbiased, it is very well, but... Sky Pirates are precisely the problem I was speaking of earlier, just before we were interrupted. Recently self-proclaimed Sky Pirates have been marauding trading vessels with troubling audacity. Even the Sky Steel Manufactory has reported stolen property at the hands of these ruffians. Troubling news indeed, though I cannot imagine fellows as amicable as our Red Bulls could be responsible. Still, if we should hear aught of it, I shall send word directly. Now then, Patios, off we trot to the infamous Parak. I have been told to seek out a certain red standard upon Coldwin. How the pulse quickens. Alright, let's go look for the Sky Pirates then. looks rather promising, wouldn't you say? I leave the rest to your uncanny sense of direction, old girl. To the Parak we go. Flying to the Parak. Let's go. Well, if it ain't the very picture of health. Assuming the star from complete annihilation didn't tax you over much then, eh? Let me guess, it was not compared to all the browing and scrapping required of the mercantile genteel. Don't tell me this dandy is what wooed you from life, with sweet nothings of financial comfort. Therefore, my good man, you know as well as I that I only one wooing Petus into anything as yourself. I don't think your interest in our mutual friend here escaped my notice. Your aim all along was less about armaments than it was an audience of Patios, was it not? Not bad for a dandy. I might have had sights on a touching reunion between Patios and myself. But that's not to say I won't be needing those samples. See, I've got a job that could fight right beneath it, from both your keen sense and those pieces you've brought me. So long as they're half the quality of what Elaine was showing off in the alehouses anyway. And count on your participation, yes. You'll be duly compensated, of course. Just name your price. Parts of a necklace, eh? For Tataru herself. I have preferred something you might make use of. But far be it from me to dedicate what a woman does of her booty. If that's your recompense, I'll see what I can do. Now that we have you on board, allow me to elaborate. It seems another band of petty thieves has been masquerading as sky pirates and harrying honest traders as of late. So you've heard of them. Aye, those so-called monstrous cockatoos don't exactly strike fear from the heart of man, but their being a right nuisance. And now they've gone and made things personal. Remember the Ray Mail? Don't you? The captain's old airship? Well, after what happened in Dunsgates, we've been commissioning the finest airship parts from across the realm for the construction of her successor. Only have those cockroach dinkumpoots pillaged a very sky-steel manufacturing vessel that was carrying our precious cargo. There are some people, eh? Makes me mouth water. Of course, once the cockatoos realized those whose property they pilfered, they flew into a panic and holed up in Idleshire after stashing the goods somewhere. This is where you and your samples come in. I want you to take Leofard and... Before you spill the rest, Ashia, let's make sure our friend here is still up for a spot of fouling. How about it? My mercantile genteel is at your service. Yeah, I knew I was right to call you. Those downy ducklings won't know what plucked them. Quite so. Patios. Return and our crew complete. Victory over these ne'er-do-wells is most certainly assured. But abye, would you have any terrible objections if I informed the Rose Knights of your designs upon these charlatans? The Knights are affiliated of the House Helenart, you see, and thus have particular interest in recovering the contents of that sky-steel vessel. I know the most capable Lady Leniette simply will not rest until she has brought these scoundrels to justice. Can can't say it's an alliance I've ever considered, but so long as I get all the Kukatu undue, our knights most tourney are welcome to catch and cage as they see fit. Splendid. Lady Laniette shall be very glad to hear from it. Overjoyed even. Yes, she may simply be unable to contain her unbound delight. I must away. Not awaiting us in Idleshire, but danger and subterfuge. But such is more tempting to our ilk than lovely knights. Let's be off. I'll explain the rest of our gambit once we get there. Who's the daddy now, you ask? Hey, I reckon my reputation precedes me in these parts. And a legendary red-bill leofard ain't known for talks like these. I could get used to this. Comfortable, practical, and with a sense of style to boot. Ain't often you find that holy triad in battle gear. Quite a line you're touting. Which brings us to your role in my master plan. Well, it ain't easy laying low in a motley place like Idleshire. These Kukahoo cowards have been managing it well, though. So to lure them out, we're going to spread savoury rumors of a black market merchant looking to fence fine contraband for even finer coin. That's you. Just strike up a chat with any adventurers or peddlers that seem like to share hearsay. You'll be playing your handsome bodyguard, so rest assured I've got you covered. I've taken the liberty of preparing your guys. It ain't as flattering as Leofords, but you should fit practically nice in this. Hello. Contrabandants? Well, I do know of some sky pirates new to town, and just the other day I overheard them discussing their latest windfall. Ah yes, just the sort of enterprising folk we're looking for. You think you could help us pin them down? I'll do what I can. I'm no stranger to sky pirates, so I'll ask around. Merchant yourself, are you? Perhaps I'm overstepping, but consider this friendly advice. Seeking out sky pirates dressed such stereotypical guard is akin to dangling a sign from your neck reading, "Purge my purse." Oh, the righteous Red Bulls may pity you, dear lady, but few else. Righteous ain't never been to liking, mate. I just can't abide them reprobates. What don't honor the creed of sky pirating? Or so you can imagine a red-bill leofard might say, not that it's any matter of ours, anyhow. Should you find someone looking to offload dubious obtained merchandise, send them our way, will you? If you insist, but I'll say I didn't warn you. It's inside the building here, right? Yeah. What's the other one? Oops. Scrost, yes, Gobi. I catches such sky stealers. Sky stealer come to claim busy deal at Cactuar, but bring no great trade goods for jingly shine. Great look laugh joke. Gobi merchant, sky stealer leave with grump face. Gobi doesn't understand why uplanders wish to trade tongue flaps with grump face style skiers, but happy to handle in for more laugh jokes. Much obliged. If all goes to plan, we'll have you laugh joking over their sorry hides for summers to come. Great happiness for Gobbly Uplander. Gobbly share one more laugh joke. Skysteer's winery about calling strong friend as the shammer. Friend may be strong, but Skysteer's brain cases are still airtight. So, are we to talk of a town yet? As far as I can tell, here's strong contenders, perhaps second only to rumors about a mysterious intimidator who cast her lot with the cockatoos. Only natural that those slaving whelps hired a browbeater, but what tickhead willingly courts the rancor of Red Bill Leopard? Well, I suppose a few names come to mind, but no matter. Our plan proceeds as discussed. Let's take to the streets and wait for our clients to come crawling, eh? Oh there, are you the trader looking to chaffer with the monstrous cockatoos? Chaffer with scags like you, furry and me, I don't know whether to laugh or to cry. That voice, Red Bill Leopard. As you live and breathe, not for long though, if you don't hand over what you and your dicky birds stole. Bluster all you like, Red Bill, you ain't getting the better of us this time. We're treated with a skyper that'll crush you to pumas. And there you were, thinking this would be ever so simple, were you not, my dear Leopard? No, it's her again. Great. Not in the slightest, I was thinking surely Radlea and her talons would never sink so low as to become lackeys to a lackey. But here you are, I might even start to pity you. And that is where you consistently underestimate me, Red Bill. I would stop at nothing to realize my desires. Or were the sweet memories we made together in Dunskites not enough to convince you of that? But I suppose I might be willing to overlook your stubborn difference and return those stolen airship parts so you just so desperately seek. If you would but call me your captain. Completing that airship means more to me than you'll ever understand. I ain't leaving here without my stolen goods. If they're worth recovering, that is. You dare collect your You didn't leave that plunder in wind-aspected territory, did you? Of course you did. Heads as empty as Pot's tankard. Those airship parts are embedded with highly calibrated corrupted crystals. Put them in any contact with wind sprites, and they're no better than glorified scrap. Wait a moment, he said contact, didn't he? How many wind sprites do contacting the rock formations on Provenance, eh? You'll be fine. You've got hands on an airship, yes? Take her to Provenance and go pick up our stolen goods. Some genius hid them under a rock. You were bluffing. Obviously. Don't make you doubt your intelligence, Radlia. What airship needs parts that can't handle a little wind? Doubt what you'd like, Leovard. I hardly need bloody airship bits to beat you into submission. Let me slip into something more comfortable. There we go. Oh no, it's patios. Oh no. Did you say D patios? As in D patios, Chan? Since when was she friends with Red Bill? Seems I'm not the only one whose name is worth something in these parts. I'm still prettier though. Well then, sweet cockatoos, let's get about cutting you up into cockatrees in forest, shall we? Red Bill by himself is one thing, but patios is something else. Ain't nothing for it, lads. We're screwed. Flee for your lives. So much for monstrous. Let's leave them to the garrison. Ain't enough meat on their shivering bones to warrant the chase. Well, yeah, I reckon this was a little more than diversion to you, but surely you didn't think I'd fold. Just such a weak hand. All the more pity that you assumed those airship parts were the only pieces of value taken from me and mine. But no matter. It's time to make your allegiances clear. If you and your talons intend to continue this farce, then we'll have it out here and now. Well, it seems I misjudged my prospects. I had thought those simpletons might amount to more than snively turntails, but I have neither loyalty nor affection for a useless cockatoo. I suppose I shall have to content myself with this reunion in itself, but you will need more than clever bluffs to evade me next time. Of that you may be certain. Those were some fine samples for the cushions, but nothing beats wearing me own rags. Go ahead, said the parrot, and wait for us in the chambers. We'll be along once I've spoken with our knights most torn. Oh wait, oh yeah. You have to go back there. Huh. Utata says stolen property is accounted for, and finishing touches on their ship proceeded apace. And according to the Rose Knights, the Kugatus will be shipped off to the Diadem, where they can enjoy volunteering their services for the betterment of mankind. Speaking of which, Captain, what is to become of the miscellany recovered from the Kugatus' hoard? I'm sure House Helenard will lay claim to their possessions, but as for the appurtenances of origin unknown, or not, puss, I don't pocket any chickabulb. I find, like some petty foister, we'll track down the rightful places soon enough, if my prediction holds. Pedios, is that you? It is, and you look quite surprised as I feel, to think we meet here among the clouds and sky parrots. I was just finishing up my affairs in Idylshire, when who should come asking for me but Red Bill Leofard. Quite the thrilling twist of my day, I'll have you know. How did Emmeline put it? She's got fingers and more pies than a street baker. When I got wind she was in Idylshire, it felt like snubbing fate not to enlist her expertise. Well, I'm exceedingly glad you did, for I have returned triumphant. Allow me to present the famous traveling portraitist, Diramert. Portraitist? But of course, among the recovered items were a number of singularly beautiful paintings. Oh, I'm relieved to hear it. When I learned which vessel had fallen prey to the Skyhearts, I thought those pieces would be lost forever. So you are yet another victim of the monstrous Kugatus. Still, a personal summons to the Parrot seems like the sort of social nicety to which the captain is normally intolerant. I believe my neat presence here may have another purpose entirely. You see, Leofar and I are old acquaintances. He commissioned me to paint that portrait, in fact. My beautiful daughter, Ramil. She looks perfectly at home here. Beautiful daughter? Aye, Dermot is father to Lady Ramil, the gentlewoman who cared for Leofard as a lad. He had dedicated all family affairs to his son when he became practicing artist, but he's still a lord in lineage. You mean to say the renowned portraitist Durmard is not only your grandfather, but a former lord as well? Oh, you must forgive my blight introduction from earlier. Not to forgive Mistress Tyru. On the contrary, I'm indebted to you for tracking him down so quickly. Thanks to you, this can happen, much just as I hoped it might. Construction's about finished on our new airship, and I wanted you here when I christened her. The Ramil will fly again. My dear boy, celebrating your mother's life with you continues to be my great honor. When you hung her portrait here, when you named your first airship, I could see the vestiges of her love shining in your countenance then, just as it is now. I only hope you continue to realize her greatest wish for you, to live as free and unfettered as the sky itself. I know she would be proud. A bit like herding turtles, ain't it? Getting us adventuring types all in one room. But well worth the effort, I'd say. Rooms like these are meant to be shared. Right, I believe we've got a new airship to fly, and the open sky awaits. Now this is an airship. With how she handles, I could fly to the edge of the existence and back without so much as a hiccup. Shahi on good authority, or whatever authority a Manilian is, when he's in his cups. You have literally done? Yeah, but this was a much bigger ship than this, though. I reckon I've never been such equal parts odd and envious. You will assume the invitation was simply lost by post-removal. Nay, in all candor, I'm certain there are some skies only meant for your eyes. Escapades, surpassing even my wildest imaginations. So chart the ends of eternity and horizons filled with peril. Just don't think you've seen the last of what wonders these heavens hold. I'll come find you again before long, and I'll bring everything I always promise, that thrilling heady rush of high adventure. Though farewell may be bittersweet in sorrow, know that it is but fodder for reunions most. Yea, we need to get a mortgage for a ball. It ain't as if Patio's dropping off the face of the star, not permanently anyhow. We'll meet again soon enough, although XIV is liable to mope like a damp kitten. We'll do till we do. I expect these parts will be free of half-baked brigands for a time yet, but should you ever find yourself in need of Red Bill, don't hesitate to call. Who you gonna call? Red Bill. As for you, we'll be in touch. Well, that wasn't for a greeting. While I love nothing more than to catch our collective breath over a cup of tea, business calls me to Ishgard. No rest for the enterprising talented, as they say. Shall we, dear remit? When I presage you to accompany us, I should very much like to hear of your adventures. Painting subjects I find personally inspiring is particularly a credo of mine, and I dare say you have brushed shoulders with more than a few divisionals of note. Thank you for indulging in old man's eccentrics. Now then, perhaps you could begin with the adventures you shared with Leofard and his crewmates. Leofard intentionally offloaded this in our direction, yes? Whatever could it be? A show of goodwill from the Red Bills. Oh, that's right. When Leofard spoke to me about finding Dermot, he didn't mention sending something along in tanks. Yeah, what could this be? Well, I will make quite a sight lugging this around to all my meetings, so might I ask you to hold on to it for the time being? I trust you not to run off with my share of the reward. A gift from the notorious Red Bill. You know they're a rather nice sort of sky pirate, don't you think? A bright and energetic young lady's your employer, Padius. I hope shepherding me back to Ishgard did not delay her business over long. The tales you shared on the journey here were beyond anything I could have anticipated. Never have I heard such inspiring episodes of daring do. Though I may not know them personally, I find myself fascinated by the individuals you described, the comrades and acquaintance on your journeys. Yes, I believe I shall remain in the capital to paint for a time. Should you desire a portrait, I would happily part with it for the cost of its supplies. Find me here and we can make the arrangements. Back to Charlotte. Welcome back. I just received word from Mistress Cactuar. What's this about portraitists and skyguards? A lot of things happened. Here you go. Will you ever give you this for the necklace? It seems to be a leather strap of sorts, and an antiquated one at that. Wait a moment, I recognize this design from my studies. This is a relic of the ancient city of Mach. It's said that Mach sorcerers would weave these cords with magics to make them unbreakable. You'd be hard-pressed to find better material for a necklace. Oh, Mistress Cactuar will be so delighted. She chatted endlessly about how pleased she was to know that Red Bills, what sorts of products might prove useful for our daring new friends. And the Rose Knights have already placed an order for the garrison, so all in all, I believe our latest endeavor was a brilliant success. As always, we shall be on the lookout for new areas of opportunity, so I hope we can count on you to serve our charming emissary again. Purchase portraits from Duramart by speaking to him in Ishgard. So you can buy portraits from Duramart there. Now, that's pretty cool. Ah, if it isn't my dear friend. Please, glad to see you again. Have you perchance come to join us in remembering the calamity? If you have a moment, there's a favor I would ask of you. Will you not hear me out? In part, due to promotional efforts during their most recent Moonfire Fair, more people are seeking to take up adventuring. Not all are yet wise in the ways of the world, however, and I fear they might fall prey to less principled types in Ulda. If one such as you were to help them on their way, I would feel more at ease. What'd you say? Will you take a fledgling adventurer under your wing? I'm truly grateful. Now I believe a carriage is due to arrive shortly. If you go and wait there at the gate of Nald, chances are a soul will wander into who has just embarked upon the path of adventure. Pray, greet them and offer your help. Were we not, you have no trouble identifying them. You need to put a luck for someone absorbed in their surroundings. I dare say it will feel like a glimpsing into the past, right to the part where you are greeted by a helpful stranger. Seasonal event. Alright, let's do this. The Rising returns. Let's go. The Rising returns. Let's do this. Welcome to Ul'dah. You must be a new player, aren't you? Welcome, new adventurer. Welcome to Ul'dah. Who are you? I am called the Champion of Eorza. An experienced adventurer, you say? And you want to help me on my way? Well, I could certainly use some guidance. I've never been anywhere near as big as Buzzy as Ul'dah. My name is Nagi Chakya, but just call me Nagi. Will do, and as you rightly guessed, I'm an aspiring adventurer. That's why I left my village and came here. So I understand that you first need to register at your Adventurers Guild. Do you know where it is? I just tucked through that door, eh? Thank you, I'll head there at once. In and out, in and out. Come on, Nagi, you can do it. Oh, Toucan, to be honest, I'm quite nervous. It's heartening to have you here. Why, hello there. What can I do for you today? The lad's here to register, is he? Yes, madame. I wish to join the Adventurers Guild. My name is Nagi Chakya. I'm 16. I'm practically a grown man. Aren't we a lively one? Remote is the name, and if you want to be an adventurer, then you've come to the right place. There's nothing to it, really. You need to write your name in the register. Come. That you're a affiliated member of the Adventurers Guild. If you ever need a bit of advice about one thing or another, pay a visit. Just don't go bothering me every time you stub your toe. Of course I do enjoy hearing you tell of a gentleman's woes from time to time. Now then, normally I'd offer you a grand tour, but in light of present company, I reckon you ought to have it from her. She's a renowned adventurer, after all, the bleeding champion of Eorzea. You could do far worse than to get her advice. To begin with, mayhap you could recommend a guild here in Ul'dah for Nagi to join. It's too noisy in here. There are benches just outside where you can have a little chat. I must confess, choosing a guild is quite daunting. I'd appreciate if any advice you can offer. Alright, let's talk guilds. I'm all ears. Adventure can be dangerous. What attracted you to it? A merchant who was in the carriage with me, a Bree something, asked me much the same thing. At the time, I couldn't give a proper response. I had a reason for leaving home, of course, but I couldn't express it in words. But having now set foot in Ul'dah, it's become clear in my mind. I want to know what lay beyond the horizon. I want to see it with my own eyes. Amidst it all. You've been to many places, right? You like it then? Traveling, that is? I love traveling. There's nothing more thrilling than seeing new sights. So you do. I have an older sister during the colony. We fled Gridania and took refuge in a village in the mountains. I ended up staying at that secluded place, and it's long been a dream of mine to travel the world. But inexperienced as I am now, I don't know if I could live a life on the road. Is there a guild that could equip me with the skills I need? One representing students of the Fine Arts. I see, a place where I can learn how to protect myself and others. If I recall correctly, Ulda is home of the Pugilist and Termagants Guild. One of those two I'd choose. The Pugilists. I've always enjoyed rigorous exercise. Yes, I believe this is the guild for me. I'll join them at once. I can show you to the guild if you like. Thank you for your concern, but I should be fine. If you have time, could we meet again afterwards? There are a few more things I'd like to ask you about. Great, I'll look for you here when I'm done. That was a most impressive display, young one. Watching you, I'm reminded of myself in my youth. Swift, strong, and handsome. Not to say that I'm these things anymore, of course. You're too kind, Master Hamon. I'm sure you still are those things and more. Now, Nagi. Take care of you don't flatter the old man overmuch. His neck couldn't bear his head getting any larger. Oh, Petius, I'm glad to say that the pugilism agrees with me. My thanks for your recommendation. So you're the one who sent Nagi to us. The lad possesses rare talent, and I look forward to watching him grow. Right then, my boy. Remember, do this lesson well, and keep your training. Next time, we shall try something a little harder. I'm sorry for keeping you waiting. So engrossed I was in my combinations that I lost track of time. Oh, I should mention something. As I was training, particular minstrels approached me. He said if I'm resolved to walk an adventurer's path, I should seek him out for a task. However, he asked me that you accompany me, if you're willing. He's apparently waiting at the Ruby Road. Friend, you have done a splendid job as guide. I was right to entrust a task to you. What do you mean to say Patios approached me at your behest? She did, I must confess. You see, from my next composition, I seek to capture the essence of the times. While any number of subjects would be worthwhile of greatest interest to me, is the recent rise in the ranks of adventurers, and thus bringing different generations of adventurers together. I hoped for inspiration to strike, and I'm pleased to say it has. Drawing upon your experience walking your path, you have helped Nagi to begin walking his. A reminder that the present owes its existence to the past. That is to say, the present and past are deeply intertwined. If we would capture the former, we cannot well disregard the latter. And this brings me to my next request. I ask that you each find an object with a connection to the calamity, the event which gave rise to the realm's rebirth, and present it to me with its tale. Well, now that sounds not unlike a treasure hunt, and it'd be my very first task as an adventurer. What do you say? Shall we do it? Excellent. When you have your items, please seek me out at the Ruby Road. I eagerly look forward to seeing what you bring. There are many vendors at the Sapphire Venues Exchange, right? Chances are there'll be something, so let's begin our search there. Come on, let's begin to look around. Yes. Welcome. What is it that you're after? Objects of connection to the calamity, you say? 5 years ago, on the eve of the Battle of Cartano, a young temple knight set out from his homeland wishing to do his part for Yorza when his nation would not. Alas, this man never arrived in the flats. En route, he came upon a merchant being attacked by a dragon and lost his life, going to the stranger's aid. This was his ring and heirloom passed down through his line. A tragic tale, but I wonder, how did the ring find its way back? If the knight failed, it seems the merchant couldn't have survived unscathed. Ah, I remember you. Though the knight was mortally wounded, he succeeded in striking down the dragon, and with the last breath, he entrusted the ring to the merchant. Yes, that's how it happened. So what'd you say? If you're interested, I would be willing to part with the relic for a small price, but for today only. This feels a bit dubious. Shall we look around more? There's bound to be other things out there. Greetings and welcome to my exhibit. Please feel free to browse at your leisure. And don't hesitate to let me know if you have any questions. We're looking for objects that bear a connection to a calamity. Do you have anything that fits the description? As a matter of fact, I do. One to paint entitled The Sultana's 7 depicts an inspiring event from the calamity. It was the final days before the fall of Delamud. Its inexorable approach foretelling our impending doom spread like wildfire, while many in their desperation turned on the Sultanate. Looting and rioting broke out across Ilda. To quell the masses, Her Royal Majesty, Nanamo ul Namo, took to the streets with a guard consisting of only 7 subjects, for they alone had the courage to stand with their sultana. There she addressed the rabbit. Heed me, my beloved citizens. The realm lies upon the brink of the 7th umbral era. Yet so long as we live, we must not forget our compassion. Now it's not the time to take from a neighbor, but to proffer him the hand of succor. Brought to their senses by their words, the people laid down their arms and set about healing the wounds they themselves had inflicted on Ilda. And those who returned from the battlefield found their home much as they had left it, a gleaming jewel in the desert. Her Majesty sounds like a great ruler. It Hulda is fortunate to have her watching over it. Thanks for sharing the tale. It's indeed inspiring, and you've done a great job capturing it in the glass. So far, so good. Just let's look around just a little more. Greetings from Daily Necessities. Unusual curious. I deal in all manner of wares. If there's something in particular you seek, you need but ask. Objects to do with the calamity. The two of you are adventurers, are you not? In which case, I have something that may be of interest. It's a journal I acquired from an adventurer who retired injured. The man recorded experience during calamity. In detail, I dare say it has some value. Oh, an adventurer's first-hand account. I'd love to pore over it. Do you keep a journal of your adventures as well? I'd love to see it one day. Oh, for another historical piece, I also have a scrapbook of articles from the Raven, Gridania's leading tabloid. These mainly cover events outside of the calamity, however. Articles from the Raven, you say? Articles from the Raven, you say? I dare say we've seen enough. Let's find a quiet spot to discuss. Right, this looks like as good a spot as any. I don't know about you, but that was all very new and exciting for me. Talking to myriad people, learning the tale behind each object. It's been a great experience, and I won't soon forget it. Now then, we need to decide what we want to take to the minstrel. Have you made up your mind? The Ishgardian Knight's Ring? I see. I did consider that too, but in the end, settled on something else. What is it? Ooh, if you don't mind, I'd like to keep it a surprise. Come, let's purchase our respective items and meet back where the minstrel waits. Welcome back. You found an item, I trust? Well now, what have we here? A knight who set out to fight for the realm and gave his life for a stranger. Read fact or fiction, this moving tale of valor and sacrifice. Reminds us of though many events, maybe beneath history's remembrance. It may have altered the lives of those who lived them. And then, what have you, young Nagi? And what might this be? It's a scrapbook of articles from the Raven. You see, my sister is a reporter for the tabloid. During calamity, He traveled the realm interviewing adventurers about their journeys, and I loved nothing more than to hear her tales. They seemed like such a diverse crowd, adventurers. No two people were alike, and yet they were united in the free, unshackled lives they lived. It struck a chord with me, and in time I found myself admiring them. Looking back, it was my sister who instilled me to the desire to see the world, to become an adventurer. That's why I chose this scrapbook. I see, the footprints someone leaves on their journey become the starting point for another. Yes, a verse comes to me, a blessing for those souls who are taking their first cherished steps into the unknown. Pray, lend me your ears. Greetings, warrior of light. This is the world that exists outside your reality. Could it be a dream, a flight, a fancy conjured by your weary mind? Perhaps, or perhaps not. It is a pleasure to meet you again. As I have in the past, I have beckoned you here that I might express my gratitude. First of all, I wish to thank you for continuing to grace us with your presence. You and your fellow adventurers are our inspiration, and this shall never change. The world, however, is an ever-changing place, mysterious in its elusiveness. Unexpected hardships may turn our lives upside down, and though we all desire peace deep in our hearts, the sparks of conflicts never cease to be struck. Like an adventurer's journey, the world is constantly moving towards the unknown, and it takes considerable courage to alter a course. Yet I ardently believe that it is a small but significant step in our quest to create new adventurers. Indeed, another great change is about to visit the world, and it shall open the way to exciting new journeys. And this our abiding hope that our journey together shall ever continue on, to the distant horizon and beyond. Now the time has come for this vision to end. Time for your eyes to open from this waking dream. Return to walking your path and know that you are in our hearts always. Till next we meet, I bid you safe travel. Thank you. Oh my god. Thank you, Naoki Yoshida. Yoshi P. Oh my god, this is so amazing. Thank you for the generous reward and the uplifting verse. It gives me courage for the road ahead. Speaking of which, it's time that I set out on my own. Though it was brief, I enjoyed our time together, and I hope to see you again somewhere out there. I look forward to hearing your tales. Though much and more was lost in the calamity, intrepid souls continued to set forth, paving the way onto the future. In such a moment in history do we stand, and for you, I would perform another song. Your life is a riddle to bear gladness and grief. Leave stars, true storms, the answers to seek. Your footprints are a tread to be gathered and woven, a song of dawn, resplendent dancing high to the heavens. From the embrace of the gods, to mankind has been torn. Upon winds eternal lives and memories are born. The future is unwritten, bring it rapture or sorrow. Our journey shall continue unto tomorrow and tomorrow. I wonder, how did you feel as you watched Nagi set off? Did the sight fill you with worry for a fledgling adventurer? Or did it awaken fond memories of your own humble beginnings? Whichever it may be, I know that yours is a journey more trying than most. There will be times when you are overcome by loneliness, and each step feels heavier than the last. In such a moment, I bid you remember this. So long as you harbor love for this world, ever shall there be a place for you in it. Your adventures will never end. Oh my god, every freaking day that I play Final Fantasy XIV, this game just keeps getting better. Holy shit. Oh boy. Oh god. Well, I'm gonna stop it here, I guess. I'm gonna stop it at the end of the Rising. this was this year's The Rising. See you guys next time on Final Fantasy XIV Online. Next time we're probably going to be starting the new raid series. I think it's called Abyssos or something. So next time we're going to be starting the Abyssos. See you guys next time.